Hey everyone, welcome to Gallant IAS. My name is Sibi Joy, and as part of our mains program for 2020 Civil Services Mains Examination, in this video, I'd like to give you an orientation about the very important papers of Essay and Ethics and the compulsory papers in your mains examination. So these are papers which are generally ignored in favor of the optional papers or the GS 1, 2 and 3 papers. So in this video, I'd like to tell you what these papers are all about and how you should approach them so that it will lead to a better attempt in your mains, which will ensure that you clear the mains on your first attempt or in this attempt definitely. So without any delay, we'll go into each of the subjects. So we'll be discussing four papers today. That one is your essay paper, the other is your ethics paper, and thirdly your compulsory papers, that is will be your English, and the fourth will be your regional language. So we'll begin off with the ethics paper. So in the ethics paper is one of the most important papers of your civil services mains examination. Why? Because this paper is something you have not touched for your preliminary part. Whereas your GS 1, 2 and 3 papers you would have already covered as part of your prelims examination, and you would have also, whatever those points which are mentioned in GS 1, 2, 3 would also be definitely helpful in your essay 2. Also you would have prepared for your optionals, but ethics is something which you may not have looked into before your prelims. So what exactly is the ethics paper is all about? Ethics paper has just two parts, section A and section B. Now section A part has a detailed syllabus. It is mentioned in the UPSC syllabus itself. There's a very detailed explanation about the various topics and subtopics in ethics. And in the second part, you have the case studies part. So what exactly do you mean by case studies? Those are situations which will be written in the question paper. For example, you are the collector of a district which is facing so and so problem. What will you do? You are the CEO of a company which is facing so and so problem. What will you do? You are the panchayat member or a panchayat president or a IAS officer who is involved in so and so issues. What will you do in such a scenario? They will put certain situations, they will put certain incidences, and they will put you as the primary agent, and you will have to write an answer. You will have to write a solution to the situation mentioned in that question paper. So that is the part B. We refer to it as case studies. So understand your ethics, there is a part A and there is a part B. Part B is of case studies, where I told you all situations or reactions would be, situations or incidents would be put, and you would have to write solutions for them. What is part A? Part A is the theory. The theory part of ethics. This is already mentioned in the syllabus. So if you look at the syllabus will have 7 points which will be talking about what is ethics, ethics and human values, emotional intelligence, ethics in public administration, probity, aptitude, attitude. All of these things will be mentioned in the syllabus, and the questions will be based upon that. So out of your 250 marks, it will be almost a 120-130 divide or a 130-120 divide between the part A and the part B of your ethics paper. So that is what is going to be there in your ethics. So understand, when you're preparing for your ethics, you'll have to learn two separate things. Case studies, you'll have to write solutions for each of the paragraphs or each of the incidents put up in your question paper. So you'll have to write solutions with you as the primary agent. So you'll have to say what is the stand you would take, what is the stand that you would take in such situations. Whereas for the part A, you should be looking at your books, you should be looking at the theory part, you should know the definitions of what is attitude, aptitude, ethics, human values, probity, integrity, honesty, dedication to public service. All of this you should be knowing. That is what you should be learning in your part A. So how do you prepare your ethics? You don't have to worry, there is ample books available online, offline. So I don't want to name anything. Please do check your online books. You should be able to get a large number of books from which you can learn the ethics part A or the theory part of ethics, which is available online. Part B, case studies. Look at the topper copies. Start writing your ethics answers. Give them to the people who have, who are your mentors or your institutes or people who can give you a proper qualitative feedback, and take their feedback and then implement it again and again to improve your case studies. Same case for your part A. Again, write the answers, get the personalized feedback, and try to improve yourself. For the books of ethics, let me tell you, it's available online. Please do search online for ethics material or ethics books. Don't want to name anything. It's always available online for you, or you can contact the institute for any more guidance. So that is with regards to ethics. What about essay? So essay is a subject many people have a very vague understanding of, and they do not know necessarily like what they are supposed to write, how they are supposed to write, and what they are writing, is that sufficient or is there some mistake in that? How do they do it? So for essay, I'll tell you again, it's again separated into part A and part B. There is a part A, there will be 4 topics from which you can choose one. For part B also, there will be 4 topics from which you can choose one. So definitely you will have to write 2 essays, one from part A, one from part B. generally till now, so I don't know how the 2020 essay pattern can change, but till now generally for the over the last few years the pattern has been like this. One portion, it can be either part A or part B. One portion would be mainly philosophical in nature and the other portion would be mainly thematic in nature. So what do I exactly mean by philosophical and thematic? Thematic meaning it will be based upon some certain subject. For example, there might be an essay topic based upon economy, there might be an essay topic based upon Indian society like women or globalization, there may be an essay topic based upon international relations, based upon security of India, or maybe farm distress or agriculture or history, geography, whatever. It will be based upon a certain specific theme or certain specific subject. That is what I mean by thematic. So part A or part B will be thematic in nature. The other part will be philosophical. So philosophical meaning it might be a quote or it might be a very abstract sentence. Not too abstract, it might be something similar to a quote or a quotation, and you will have to write based upon that. So this is the reason, based upon recent trends, these are the types of questions being asked in your ethics essay paper. So understand, essay paper is also for 250 marks. You'll have to write 2 essays. Each essay has 125 marks, and there'll be 2 essays, one based upon the thematic side and other based upon the philosophical side. So how do you prepare for this? For the thematic side, your GS 1, 2, 3 and 4 is more than sufficient, because you will be learning all these subjects: international relations, security, geography, history, polity, society, governance. Everything will be learned in your history, in your GS 1, 2, 3 parts. So for your thematic side, that is more than enough. But you can't write an essay paper very similar to what you write for your GS 1, 2 and 3. You need to write it in a different manner. You need to write it in a manner which is more flowing, which is much more eye-catchy and interesting to read, rather than a GS 1, 2, 3 paper which is very formal description of an answer. That is for the part B or the thematic part of your essay. So for your part A or the philosophical part of the essay, what can you read? Your ethics paper will give you a large chunk of the philosophical part. Apart from that, you can again, for the part A also, you can refer to the topics of GS 1, 2 and 3, which will also give you the necessary content for part A too. So for the philosophical part, you can club essay while also preparing for that. Whereas for the thematic part, you should be part GS 1, 2 and 3 should be more than enough. So on an overall sense, I would say that learning your GS 1, 2, 3 and 4 papers properly should be more than enough for your essay preparation. So you don't have to worry at all with regards to preparing for your essay, whether you should learn new books, whether you should learn new subjects, learn new topics. You don't have to worry. Whatever you learn for your GS 1, 2, 3 and 4 is more than enough for your ethics, for your essay. But again, ensure that it is not similar to writing a answer for your GS 1, 2 and 3 and 4. It is not like that. You have to write more words, so you need to elaborate a bit more. You need to make sure it is interesting. It is not just filled with facts and figures. Make sure it is interesting. Make sure it flows between the paragraphs. And finally, your essay would sound much better compared to others. And this would create a good impression upon the examiner, who is going to give better marks if your essay is different from others' essay and it is much more interesting to read. An essay is not a report. Understand, it is an essay. The paragraphs have to have links between each paragraph and it should just flow. Whereas your GS 1, 2 and 3 papers is based upon a certain topic and you can just write it in 200 words. Here you have more than enough words. You have 1200 words. You can write in a descriptive manner, write it in a flowing manner, make sure it is interesting, and that is your key to scoring well in your essay. So that is the idea for essay. That is you don't need any specific books. Just read what is there for your GS 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we covered essay, we covered ethics. Now another 2 papers which most of us ignore are the compulsory papers. So in the compulsory papers, you just need to qualify. Nothing more, nothing less. You just need to qualify. So it's for 300 and you just need to score over the qualifying marks. So it's not a very difficult thing. It's something very easy. You can easily score over the qualifying marks. How do you score over the qualifying marks? You just need to be familiar with the subject. Nothing more, nothing less. Yet people fail to qualify for their civil services mains examination just because they have ignored the compulsory papers. So we should dedicate some amount of time for our qualifying papers. You don't have to dedicate large amount of time, but some amount of time is definitely needed. So what is the amount of time you can dedicate for your compulsory papers? For example, if you are very fluent in your regional language, paper, whichever you are choosing, it can be Hindi or Tamil or Telugu or Malayalam or whatever language you are choosing, if you have studied in that medium, or you have consistently you are in touch with that regional language, you don't have to worry. You can just read your newspapers, maybe write one or two paragraphs which is taken from the newspaper. This will ensure that you have a touch with the regional language which you are going to write for your mains. So personally, my regional language was Hindi. So since I live in a place where there is Hindi newspapers are not commonly available, I used to download the online version from certain websites, and I used to write a paragraph of whatever was there in the newspaper into a piece of paper. This brought about a writings. This made me more familiar with the regional language I was going to write. That alone is more than enough for you to clear your option, your compulsory paper. So this is for people who are not in touch with their regional language much. But generally, it's going to be really easy if you are in touch with your regional language. What is there in the regional language? There will be one essay you will have to write in your regional language. There will be translations. There will be précis writing, and there will be a bit of grammar, and there will be comprehension. So these are very simple things you will be writing. We've been writing this since our school days, so you don't have to devote much time. Don't devote much time, but ensure you are in touch with that language which you are writing. Whatever regional language you're choosing, always write one model question paper before your mains examination. Write one, get it evaluated. Now you don't have to spend too much time behind it, but just get it evaluated. It will give you peace of mind, and it will ensure that you don't screw up in your mains. So it's a very simple thing. It's a very simple task. Please give importance to it to ensure that you just clear it. Don't give too much importance for its score. The idea behind the regional paper and the compulsory English paper is to just clear it. So just write one essay or write one paper which ensures that you are over the cutoff mark. And when you get it evaluated, you will be sure that okay, I have written which is more than the cutoff necessary, and this is going to give you an immense amount of peace of mind, which is very important for your mains. Because unlike your prelims, which gets over in one day, your mains is something which is going to be spread over 5 days. So you'll be writing and writing and writing, you'll be too tired. So that may impact your performance. So always focus upon your compulsory papers to the amount that you should be able to clear it. Don't spend too much time behind it. You have more important things to study, like your optionals and your GS papers and your essay paper. But ensure that your compulsory paper, you are safe in your compulsory paper. So that is for the compulsory paper, which is the regional one. What about English? English also has the same pattern. There is an essay, there is a comprehension, there is a précis writing. There is no translation, but there is grammar in it. So just refer to your basic books. It should be more than enough. So for those people who are writing their mains in the regional language, just ensure that your basic English is good. You don't have to worry too much. Again, the idea behind it is to just qualify. It is very easy to qualify in this paper. Just make sure that your time is managed properly, and you should be able to do wonders in this paper. You should be able to qualify it very easily. That is the idea behind the compulsory paper. So for English, if you feel that you need a specific book or something, basically I would suggest Wren and Martin, which is the basic grammar book we've all used in school. Please search online. You should be able to find copies of it. Use that to ensure your grammar is good. How to write an essay, how to write a précis, everything would be there in that. And again, very similar to your regional paper, again practice one compulsory English paper before the mains and get it evaluated, so that you can be sure that you will be over the qualifying mark. That should be the idea behind preparing for your compulsory papers. So we discussed about ethics, the two part A, part B, the theory part and the case studies part. We discussed about essay, the thematic kind of essay and the philosophical kind of essay, and what are the books or the materials you should be looking at into. And we also discussed about the compulsory papers. So I wanted to focus upon these papers in this video because these papers are something which we generally ignore. But they are actually some of the important papers which will ensure that you clear the mains and you see your name in the final list. Your compulsory papers are very important for you to clear mains. Without them, you cannot clear your mains. It doesn't matter how much well you score in the rest of them. If you don't clear your compulsory papers, you are not going to clear the mains examination. So ensure that you have enough knowledge to clear your compulsory paper English and your compulsory paper of your regional language. Essay and ethics. Essay and ethics are very important because they are papers which are highly scoring. Your GS 1, 2, 3 will give you a consistent score, whereas your essay, your marks in your essay and ethics will give you a leap of nearly 50 marks if you can perform extremely well over the average person who's scoring essay and ethics. So a person who can score consistently in the 150s range in the essay, or who can score consistently in the above average in the elite tier of ethics, he is definitely going to go for an interview. he's definitely going to go, he or she is going to go for an interview because of the marks in essay and ethics. That alone will give you an interview call. You ensure that your marks in your optional and your GS 1, 2, 3 is good enough, definitely you can find a place in the final list. There is no doubt about it. So overall, I would say we need to look at all the subjects, but generally people focus on the options and focus on the GS 1, 2, 3 because both of them find due importance. But many people ignore essay and ethics. I'm not saying you should ignore it. You should focus on your options. You should focus on GS 1, 2, 3, but give due importance to essay and ethics because those two papers give you 500 marks. They are for 500 marks. And if you can score well in them, it is very easy to score more than 250 marks just in essay and ethics. Just essay and ethics will alone give you more than 250 marks if you can do well. So that is something we should always take advantage of. And that advantage is what is going to make a difference to you. 250 plus marks in essay and ethics, something marks near to 300 alone will give you 550 marks for your optional essay and ethics. 550 marks based upon the recent cutoffs and everything, you just need to score something more than 250 or 300 should be from your GS 1, 2, 3 and 4 to clear your mains easily. So it's not a really difficult task provided your optionals, your GS 1, 2, 3 are strong. So what do? Always give due importance to your optionals and your GS papers, but do not ignore your ethics and essay because while many people think it can be covered easily, and yes, it can be covered easily, but ensure that you are very well aware of what it is and how it is to be done. Spend the most qualitative time possible and complete it very quickly so that you can ensure that your preparation is not affected in the last minute because you did not look at your essay and ethics. Always ensure that it is not your marks in essay and ethics which have pulled you down. So that is the idea and that is the gyan I wanted to share with you in this video. So for any inquiries, please do contact the numbers given below. And with this, I am concluding this video. This is CB Joy signing off. Everybody have a nice day and thank you.